So chapter 10, there's no quiz for chapter 10. There's no questions on your final exam, as far as I know, unless they've changed it for chapter 10. And the reason why is because AHLA, American Hotel Lodging, or AHLEI, American Hotel Lodging Education Institute, they have a whole subject or whole class on housekeeping, which we used to offer here at St. Philip's. The hotel management majors would take housekeeping on Tuesday and front office on Thursday. But what I decided to do was just combine the two into one class. And so how many of you are hotel management majors? Okay, awesome. So what I did was, instead of doing 160 hours in your practicum, I changed that to 384 hours on the practicum to make it the same as hospitality students. And so it basically, we take away a class of housekeeping, but it gives you almost double the hours, more than double the hours in the hotel to learn that housekeeping hands-on stuff, right? And so I kind of did that trade-off where, rather than sit in my class for 16 weeks and learn about housekeeping, is you'll get that actually on the job. So that's why you're not going to see any quizzes or not anything. You shouldn't see anything from chapter 10 on the exam. Okay. Next week, does everyone have their textbook? You still don't have your textbook. Okay. But that's not on you, it's on the bookstore. Okay. How about this? Right after class, because we should finish just a little bit early, how about you and I walk over to the bookstore together and let's talk to them? Yes. You've ordered it and it hasn't come in yet. Okay. And you ordered it to the bookstore, you ordered it to your home? To the bookstore. Okay, then let's all go to whoever does not have your textbook. Anybody else not have their textbook? Okay. So everyone who does not have your textbook, we're all gonna walk over to the bookstore and we're gonna get this situated. Okay. What time is that? At 1:30. Okay. So if we finish at 1, then we'd have a little bit of time in between. Okay. So that's my goal. My watch is dead. So what time do we have right now? 12:16. Oh, we got 45 minutes. Okay, we can do it. Um, so okay, cool. I gave everybody a piece of paper. I'm gonna come by and I'm gonna give you a piece of tape. And I want you to think about, does housekeeping clean this area? Is housekeeping responsible for upkeeping this area in the hotel? Oh, that's fine. Okay. Think about it. Yes and no. And hold on a second. As I am giving out more tape, if I've given you a piece of tape, go ahead and bring yours up and put it in whichever column you think it belongs in. Does it belong in housekeeping responsibility or not housekeeping responsibility? Oh, hold on one second. Let me turn off the interactivity, excuse me.
I was gonna do it. I was gonna change.
Oh, now it changed. There you go. You're welcome. Here you go, Michael. It's about these. Here you go, Brian. Yes.
The carpets and the Marriott.
Uh-huh.
They look like the wall too. It looks like one size water snake.
That's crazy. Somebody designed that. All right. So I know we don't see it on the screen because it's all the piece of paper up on the screen in class, but let's look at the housekeeping responsibilities. Pools and patio areas, that's correct. Linen and sewing rooms, laundry room, back of the house, guest rooms, storage areas, corridors, banquet rooms, public areas, meeting rooms, yes. Exercise rooms, game rooms, management offices, convention exhibit halls, hotel operated shops, dining rooms, all 6 of those belong over here. Everything on the screen, kind of a trick question, everything in some way, right? Now, housekeeping in the dining room, housekeeping is not probably going to go in and mop and sweep and mop the floors, but they may be doing dusting, more like deep cleaning type stuff. Okay. The people that are responsible for cleaning the floors are probably gonna be the servers or the bussers. Okay. So hotel operated shops, same thing. Now, if it's a contracted, like a rented area, then they may be responsible for upkeeping the place. But housekeeping is going to go in at some point and do a good clean of the floors and whatnot. Convention exhibit halls and meeting rooms, banquet rooms. I'm going to kind of put all those together because oftentimes the housekeeping department doesn't take care of that. But within that convention offices, there is a housekeeping department that only does those rooms. Okay. Now, there may be some housekeepers that do make sure that the lobby areas, the pre-function space is all clean. Yes.
Because I was uncertain about the pools and patios.
Yeah.
Figuring like for the patio compared to the club, but like how you said that it might be like a ministry department for like the banquet convention center. I was thinking, is that the case for pools as well?
Nope. Housekeeping is responsible for pools and the pool area, the patio area. So they're the ones that go out, make sure that the pool towels are stocked. They're the ones that make sure that the pool furniture is all out there, right? Now, maintenance will probably take care of the chlorine of the pool, right? And those chemicals, but housekeeping is going to make sure that it's also clean. Same thing with exercise rooms. Okay. And we're going to go over now, keep in mind that what we're going to do in about 45 minutes is what I teach, the highlights of what I teach through a whole semester. Okay. So this is really kind of an opportunity for you to see that housekeeping is more than just cleaning the rooms. Housekeeping is the hardest working department in our entire hotel. And without housekeeping and without a dedicated housekeeping staff that are dedicated to providing excellent clean rooms for our guests and the hotel in general, we wouldn't have a hotel to stay in. We wouldn't have rooms to sell. We wouldn't have a great reputation. Okay. And so all of that is key to understanding. And then how the front desk works with the housekeeping department is crucial. The communication between the two are crucial. That's why housekeeping and front desk is often called the rooms division. So we have the food and beverage division, we have the rooms division, which makes up those. Okay. In housekeeping, we have area inventory lists. These are basically everything within an area, and it tells us how we need to clean it. So housekeeping will do an area inventory list for every space. So let's take a look at this. On your notes, I want you to write down at least 3 to 5 things in this picture that you think housekeeping would have to take care of and keep clean. So in your notes, list 3 to 5 things. All right. Who would like to give me one? Good. The carpet. Mike. The artwork. Okay, good. Yes, the railings. Yep, the furniture. Yep. Maybe a digital screen of some sort. Yep. Anything else? Everything. Yes, it literally is everything in this picture. Okay, look, how about this one? Right? So we have seating. In this case, we have looks like we have some kind of stone on the wall instead of just like maybe just like wallpaper, or in this case we have paint, right? We have acoustical panels in this classroom. So well, this is a bulletin board. But acoustical panels, these panels, they're functional. If we didn't have these here, the sound would just bounce off the hard walls and you'd get this really loud echo. Not necessarily a loud echo, but it would just really be loud. So these actual along the entire back wall are actually, they absorb the sound so that way it's not so abrasive in here. Okay, because everything in here is hardwood, right? And so if it's just everything is this hard surface, that sound will just bounce off of it and it gets too crazy. So the stone, the plants, furniture, the carpet, we have two different types of flooring here. So we have carpet, and it looks like we maybe have marble or tile flooring, door handles, the glass of the doors themselves. How about this? The cabanas, okay. Anything around the pool, picking up towels, all those things, housekeeping is responsible for. And so it's a lot more than what we just think about when we think about housekeeping of just cleaning guest rooms. Okay. These areas are what we call the public spaces. And we'll talk about who takes care of the public spaces in just a moment. Okay. So in here we have mirrors, dressers, bed, everything in here. This is a guest room. So that of course the housekeeping is going to take care of all of this. Okay. We talk about frequency. So how often do those things get cleaned? Is it daily? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Okay. If we look at this, we might have hourly. The house person is the one who takes care of public spaces. They may have a rotation of they go to the lobby, then they go to the pool, then they go to the corridors, and they go back to the lobby and the pool and the corridors, and they go to rotation to make sure things are being cleaned every hour, every 2 to 3 hours, right? So that frequency is really key. And then we have deep cleaning or special projects. So we may not dust the baseboards in the guest room every single time we clean the room, but maybe because housekeeping is going in every time a guest checks out, maybe this week, the second week of the month, the project is baseboards. So make sure you hit those baseboards that during this particular week. Now, next week, it may be the AC vents. We're going to dust the AC vents. So every guest room you go into, take an extra 5 minutes to dust the AC vent. So those deep clean projects happen on a regular rotating basis to make sure, because there's no way we could do everything and clean the baseboards and dust the AC units every single time we go into a guest room, right? So for a room attendant, that's what we think about. They're not maids. Okay, so if a guest ever comes up to me and says that the maid hasn't been to my room yet, and they're like, "Oh, I stay in hotels all the time," and I'm like, "Well, if you did, you wouldn't call them a maid. Call them a housekeeper. You call them a room attendant. But whatever. Again, things we say on the inside of our head, not outside of our mouth. Yes. I mean, in a luxury brand, I would not put that past the housekeepers as part of the stayover service. I have actually had that where if I've left like some pants on the floor, they'll pick it up and fold it and lay it on the bed. Um, yeah, it depends on the brand for sure. But I've also had recently a hotel I went to when I was in Phoenix for school in June. I was working late and I left my laptop on the bed. And when I got back, the housekeeper left a note that said they were unable to make my bed because the company policy is they don't remove anything that's on the bed. And so, of course, you think, oh, well, I come back and my laptop is broken and the housekeeper moved it. So company policy is if it's on the bed. But there was a nice note that said, if you want us to come back and service your room, just let us know. Right? Yeah, absolutely. I saw a hand over here just a second ago. No? Okay. So the basic function of a room attendant is to clean the guest rooms. Okay. And they're going to report directly to the inspector. So when a room attendant is done with the room, then there's a supervisor or an inspector that comes in to make sure that everything has been done. And then they change it over in the system to vacant ready. Okay. We're going to watch this YouTube video in a second. So basically, that's not necessarily in this order, but we want to enter and prepare the room for cleaning. What does that mean? Prepare the room for cleaning. So taking all the old linen and terry or the towels and stuff out of the room. What else? Picking up the trash. Okay. So basically, we're preparing the room to be cleaned by removing all that stuff. Now we might put the iron and ironing board back in the closet or where it belongs, right? So we're preparing to do all of that. We make the bed. We're going to dust the furniture. When we dust, when I would dust as a housekeeper, I would always when I train people, I always tell them to work at 360 degrees. So I start at this point and I move around the room in 360 degrees so I get back to where I started. That way I know that I touched everything. We dust from the top to the bottom. I don't dust the bottom and then come over and dust the top because now I've pushed dust back onto the countertops, right? So top to bottom, 360 degrees, cleaning the bathroom, shower, tubs, toilets, sink, floors, all of that. And then if there's carpet or there's any kind of whatever the flooring is, we want to clean the flooring, whether that's sweeping, mopping, whatever. And then we're going to make sure that the whole room again is 360 degrees. We're good. I've done everything. Secure the room, then the supervisor can come in. Okay. One of the questions we've asked at the Wyndham, I don't think they quite answered it specifically. But typically for a room, if it's a checkout, between 25 to 30 minutes. If it's a stayover, between 10 to 15 minutes at the most. Stayovers mean we're just going to go in and pick up trash and make the bed and replace any towels that need to be replaced. So it's just in and out really quickly. Complete checkout, depending on the size of the room, depending on the type of room it is, they're going to be given a specific amount of time. They also do credits. So some hotels will do credits. So let's say a standard room is 1 credit. And then a suite, because a suite is a little bit bigger, it has a living area, maybe a suite is 1.5 credits, right? And so a housekeeper might be expected to clean 16 credits in a day. 16 total credits. That could be 16 regular guest rooms, or it could be a mixture of suites and guest rooms. So that's sometimes how a lot of hotels are moving towards, is like certain room types are different credit amounts, but everyone does the same amount of credits in the day. It just depends on how your credits are broken up in the different types of rooms that you clean. All right, so let's take a look at let's take a look at this. What is a duvet? Who does not know what a duvet is? I'm not fancy enough to have a duvet. A duvet is like your blanket, your feather blanket or feather comforter, but then it kind of goes into like a giant pillowcase, essentially, right? That covers your whole blanket. So a duvet, let's take a look and see. Did it not? Guess we'll just go Google Chrome. I don't want to do what? Edit link. All right. Let me pause the recording on this. So the house person. The house person is sometimes they refer to them as housemen, right? Traditionally, I'm not going to say it's always the case, but traditionally, room attendants are female, house persons, housemen were men, right? They're the ones who took care of the public spaces, the pool, the gym, the restocking, the shelves, all those kinds of areas, right? So house person, and then room attendants. So those anything like in the corridors, the lobbies, the parking lots, that's their responsibility to maintain. They also sometimes some hotels has the house person go ahead of the housekeeper and strip the rooms for them. So that way when the housekeeper comes in, all they have to do is make the bed and clean the bathroom and maybe collect out trash. But that house person will go ahead and strip the beds and take out the towels and whatnot. So they do a lot of things, right? The housekeepers, the room attendants are focused on the rooms. The house persons take care of pretty much everything else in the hotel. So a lot of different areas. One of the special projects that might happen, might occur, is flipping the mattresses. Think about that. Our mattresses are, how many of you actually, first of all, how many of you flip your mattress at home? Anybody? Are you better than I am? I can't remember the last time I flipped my mattress. Why do we need to flip the mattress? Because we're told to, okay? Why else would we need to flip the mattress? Yes, the body print, right? So if you're sleeping in that same position all the time, it's going to leave that kind of impression, that depression in the bed, and that the springs in that particular area are going to get more use than other. So by flipping the mattress, so in this case we rotate it. So you think about first the foot of the bed becomes the top of the bed, right? So now we're using springs in a different area. And then after we rotate it, then we flip it so the other side is getting used, and we do the same thing. Okay. Second turn, then we flip it back. It basically just extends the longevity of our mattresses in the hotels. All right, heads up. The next slide's pretty disgusting. All right. So bed bugs. I gave you a heads up. A bed bug after 3 minutes, after 9 minutes, after 12 minutes. And what I mean by 3, 9 minutes, and 12 minutes, that's basically sucking your blood. Okay. So let's learn about some bed bugs. So I have a question for you. Do bed bugs correlate with the level of service of a hotel? Yes or no? It can, but it does not. Luxury hotels get bed bugs just as often as budget hotels, right? So I heard someone recently, I can't remember who it was. I think it was a podcast I was listening to, and they were like, "Ooh, Motel 6. Oh, that's because Motel 6 I think just got sold, just got bought by somebody else." And they were talking about how they would rather sleep in their car than stay in a Motel 6. And I'm like, well, there's some pretty decent Motel 6s, right? They're still a budget hotel, but just because they're budget doesn't mean that they're going to have bed bugs. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And the reason why bed bugs, I can't remember which videos these are. Um,
$197. So our final segment, we're going to talk about most people
with budget hotels. Luxury hotels can definitely have just as much exposure to bed bugs. Now, it's important to note that as your housekeepers are looking for signs of bed bugs, so if as they're taking the sheets off the bed, where all the seams of the mattresses are, they should be looking for signs of bed bugs, which is like little black, basically droppings of the bed bugs, or like red rust colored streaks. All that kind of stuff are potential signs of bed bugs. And if we suspect bed bugs, we want to notify the management very quickly because we don't want it to spread. Most hotels, when they do have suspected bed bug infestations, they will put the rooms out of service on either side of that room and then also on the floor above and below. So that way they can treat all 5 of those rooms. Even if the rooms above and below and the side don't show signs, they're still going to treat them just to be on the safe side. Okay? Yes. Okay, awesome. Do you want to put it up here on the screen? Okay. Swing by if you want to see a bed bug picture. We have just a couple more minutes. I do want to end at 1 o'clock. But the other thing that I think most people don't realize that housekeepers have to take into consideration is the cleaning that they do. So think about those area inventory lists we talked about. The carpet, the stone on the wall, the paint on the wall, all requires different types of cleaning methods and different chemicals. And if you use the wrong chemical, you could damage the product, right? If you use the wrong chemical, you could also cause harm to yourself. If you mix ammonia and Clorox or bleach, then it creates a really bad gas that could almost like knock you out, right? And so using abrasives, things that can help get other like hard stains off, can also scratch our tubs and showers, which are most often fiberglass. If we make those microscopic scratches, then that's easier places for mold to grow and moisture to collect. But we don't see it because they're super small, right? We may discolor marble or something if we're using the wrong type of chemical. So I think oftentimes people oversimplify the housekeeping responsibilities, but housekeeping is so crucial and they need to know a lot of information. Okay, so let's talk 4 minutes. I think we can do laundry in 4. We'll start with this. We'll start with the flow of laundry. But one thing that I want to do real quick as an activity in the next 4 minutes is housekeeping has to do what we call inventory or PAR. So PAR for the hotel is how much linen and terry, so terry is the towels, okay? How much linen and terry is necessary to operate. Now, 1 PAR is on the beds in the guest rooms. That's our first PAR. The second PAR is being removed to be cleaned. The third PAR is being cleaned. The fourth PAR is on our shelves. We may have a PAR in storage just for backups, right? That's 5 PAR. That's pretty excessive. So the standard in the industry is 3 to 3.5 PAR. That basically means 3 to 3.5 if every single bed was covered, okay? So if we have a 500 room hotel, let me zoom in. We have a 500 room hotel and we're looking at a 5 PAR, okay? We have 300 doubles and we have 200 kings. So how many fitted sheets go into 1 king room? 1, because we got 1 bed, right? How many king flats? If we're doing a triple sheeting, how many king flat sheets do we have? 2. So we have 1 fitted and then the 2 flat sheets, right? So the flat, the blanket, the flat. So in a queen room, how many beds do we have? We have 2, which means we have 2 fitted sheets. And then we need 4 flat sheets per queen. Okay. How many pillows do we have in our king rooms? 4. Let's go with 4. In our queen rooms, probably 6, 3 per bed, right? 8, 4 per bed. Okay. So then our pillowcases, that's 8 and 4, that's 12 pillowcases. Sorry, for the king is 4. The queen pillowcases is 8. For the duvet, the blanket, there's 1 per king and there's 2 per queen. Okay. So if we were to have a true 5 par, that means I need to have 1,000 fitted sheets for the king beds, 2,000 flat sheets in my inventory in storage. Like, well, one set is on the beds, right? One set is on storage. So this is how we kind of think about the inventory that housekeeping has to keep up with. Now, we may not have a 5 par of blankets because we're not washing the blankets in between each time. So we may have like a 1.5 par of our blankets. We have some in storage, maybe 2 par so we can switch them out. But think about that, 12,000 pillowcases for the queen beds. Because we need to have enough on hand that 1 is on our beds, 1 is in storage ready to be put on the beds, 1 is in the process of going from the beds to the laundry, 1 is in the laundry being cleaned, and 1 is backup just in case. 12,000 pillowcases in a hotel that has 500 rooms. That's a lot. A lot of detergent, absolutely. It sure is. There was one of the hotels, I think it was the Marriott downtown, told my students on a field trip one time, the executive housekeeper, her budget for laundry detergent is $40,000 a month, is what she spends on laundry detergent for a 1,000-room hotel. $40,000 a month is what she pays for laundry detergent. That's not her labor of her hours of her laundry attendance. It's just in detergent alone. So you wonder why those rooms cost $400 a night, right? Because that takes. Now, does that mean that a hotel that charges less is using less laundry detergent? No, they're still using laundry detergent. They just don't have 1,000 rooms to clean in one day. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind as we're going through the hotels, and if we start going to the back of the house into the laundry department, you might ask the executive housekeeper how many par that they have. They always will. They more often than not they will tell you, "I wish I had more par." More often than not, they'll be like, "I wish I had 4 par, but I only have 3." You know, so keep that in mind as we're going through. We will pick up with this flow of laundry because I have an activity for that. So we'll pick up with the flow of laundry and finish through the chapter on the 10th next week. All right. Thank you all so much. Those of you who have not signed